A man is holding up his camera, fully intending to capture the beautiful moment of his wife giving birth. To his horror, the newborn immediately terrifies him, leaving even the nurse completely frozen in her tracks. Before the mother can even figure out what is going on, a doctor frantically grabs the baby and rushes into the emergency room. Over the next 10 years, the boy undergoes a staggering 27 surgeries just to get his breathing and vision back to normal. Yet, despite enduring these agonizing treatments, he still cannot live life like a regular kid, all because he suffers from congenital mandibulofacial dysostosis, which is a rare condition known as bird face syndrome. And it is this very unique appearance that has left Auggie riddled with insecurities since he was a toddler. He fears his appearance will draw mockery from others or, worse, completely terrify them. So no matter where he goes, he always sports a heavy astronaut helmet. Over the years, his mother, Isabel, has quit her stable job to not only take meticulous care of him, but also homeschool him to protect his fragile self-esteem. But as Auggie grows older, Isabel worries that his lack of social interaction will prevent him from fitting into society later, prompting her to discuss with her husband, Nate, and ultimately decide to send Auggie to a real school. However, this bombshell drops Auggie straight into a state of deep panic. At this moment, the director utilizes a starry, glittering visual to foreshadow that Auggie is about to face all kinds of malice. The next day, Isabel takes Auggie to the campus ahead of time to get familiar with the environment. The principal, Mr. Tushman, is a warm and friendly man who, noticing Auggie's extreme awkwardness, intentionally cracks a joke to ease his tension. Afterward, Mr. Tushman arranges for 3 students to give Auggie a tour of the school. Yet, the observant Auggie sees right through the disgust and disdain lurking in Julian's eyes at a single glance. Sure enough, the moment they step out of the adult's sight, Auggie's worst nightmare comes to life. Julian mocks Auggie for being an unschooled freak and continuously needles him about his facial deformities.
What's the deal with your face?
Dude.
Were you in a car crash or something?
Julian!
What? Tushman said we could ask questions if we wanted to.
Not rude questions.
In a fire, too.
Hey, Julian, shut up.
You shut up!
Why don't we all shut up? No, I wasn't in a fire. And the word supposedly.
What?
You said that science is supposedly really hard. Twice. The word supposedly, with a D.
Although Auggie musters up the courage to fire back, Julian's harsh words still pierce his heart like sharp thorns. Upon returning home, Isabel sees Auggie's downcast mood and gently comforts him, saying that there will always be malicious people in the world, and they can simply learn to be tolerant. But Nate does not quite agree with this perspective.
Look at me, Auggie. That kid sounds like a real jerk. If someone pushes you, you push back. Don't be afraid of anyone.
Why are we whispering?
Because I'm afraid of Mom. You just gotta be a bigger person and rise above it. It's that easy.
Yet, considering her son's inner timidity and sensitivity, Isabel also decides to respect Auggie's own thoughts. To everyone's surprise, Auggie actually chooses to go back to school, simply because he loves the science class there way too much. While Auggie is unfortunate, he possesses a family that dotes on him unconditionally, and it is this warm household that becomes his happy, emotional, safe haven. Soon, the first day of school arrives, and with a heart full of anxiety and conflict, Auggie arrives at the school gate accompanied by his family. His mother tightly grips his hand, repeatedly reminding him to practice tolerance and forbearance when things happen. His older sister quietly reassures him that being happy is far more important than getting good grades. His father, on the other hand, instructs him that if he encounters malicious provocations, he must bravely fight back. On the surface, the family acts completely casual and relaxed, but deep down, they are all secretly worrying about Auggie's upcoming school life. Then, Nate slowly removes the helmet that has shielded Auggie for years, encouraging him to bravely take that monumental first step. However, reality cuts like a cold blade, mercilessly stabbing right at Auggie. The second he steps onto campus, his classmates look at him as if they have spotted a monster, casting astonished glances and instinctively steering clear of him. This gives Auggie a taste of bone-chilling isolation, yet he still forces himself to put on a brave smile. Because he keeps his mother's words close to his heart, if you do not like where you are, just picture it the way you want it to be. So, Auggie imagines himself as a spotlight-stealing astronaut, gritting his teeth to withstand all the strange stares as he successfully walks into the classroom.
Sorry.
Charlotte, the girl who accompanied him on the tour earlier, takes the initiative to greet Auggie. Meanwhile, the look Julian shoots at Auggie is filled to the brim with disgust. In class, Mr. Brown wants to break the ice among the students, so he arranges for everyone to take turns introducing themselves. Yet, despite it being a simple interaction, when it is Auggie's turn, he instinctively recoils and resists. Under Mr. Brown's gentle guidance, he finally musters the courage to softly introduce himself and his absolute favorite, Star Wars. Julian deliberately brings up a hideous villain from the movie, taking the opportunity to mock Auggie. Fortunately, Mr. Brown steps in just in time to shut down Julian's rude banter. Afterward, Mr. Brown asks a student to read the sentence on the blackboard aloud.
When given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind.
The moral of this quote is plain and simple, yet Julian completely fails to grasp its profound meaning. When Auggie sits all by himself in the cafeteria having lunch, Julian mocks him in front of everyone again. However, the bullying from his classmates goes way beyond just this. During afternoon PE class, dodgeballs rain down on Auggie and Auggie alone, leaving him in absolute shambles. After finally making it to the end of the school day, Julian still refuses to let Auggie off the hook, sneering that Auggie should wear a surgical mask to school so he does not scare the living daylights out of everyone else. Just like that, Auggie's very first day of school wraps up amidst a non-stop barrage of malicious bullying. Spotting his mom, who comes to pick him up, he immediately snaps his helmet back on, refusing to take it off even during dinner. His parents know damn well that Auggie must have been mistreated at school, so they try everything under the sun to cheer him up. Yet, no matter how hard they try, they can barely heal the raw trauma in Auggie's heart. Ultimately, he runs straight into his bedroom. Looking at her heartbroken son, Isabel feels a surge of deep ache and hurries into the room to be by his side. Under her tender guidance, Auggie slowly takes off his helmet, sobbing out every bit of the grievance he has bottled up all day. After listening to his mother's heartwarming consolation,
They won't even talk to me. It matters that I look different.
Have marks on her face. I have this wrinkle here from your first surgery, and I have these wrinkles here from your last surgery. This is the map. It shows us where you've been, and it's never, ever ugly.
What about your gray hair?
That's compliments of your dad, I think.
Auggie finally gets his good mood back, a long-lost smile breaking across his face. Nate, who has been quietly waiting and listening outside the door the whole time, pushes the door open at this moment to comfort his son. The tiny bedroom is instantly filled to the brim with warm, cozy love. With the constant encouragement from his family, Auggie stops fearing the strange stares of others, gradually realizing that other people's opinions do not mean squat, and that learning to embrace himself is the ultimate key to growing up. Having regained his confidence, Auggie performs exceptionally well in his beloved science class. However, this subject happens to be a major pain point for most of his classmates, and during a pop quiz, many students are knitting their brows in distress, while Jack is in an absolute panic. Noticing his struggle, Auggie quietly slides his test paper closer to Jack. He knows full well that cheating is against the rules, but his kind heart simply cannot bear to watch his classmate completely at a loss. During lunch, Jack takes the initiative to find Auggie and thank him. He also becomes the very first classmate in the room to reach out and get close to Auggie. Auggie feels incredibly awkward all over.
I just don't like eating in front of people.
What do you mean?
It's a long story, but when I eat, I think I chew like some prehistoric swamp turtle.
To ease his tension, Jack intentionally puts on a hilarious eating face, making Auggie burst into a hearty laugh. From that moment on, the two spend every waking moment together and become absolute best friends. Auggie even invites Jack over to his house as a guest. Watching her son grow more cheerful by the day, Isabel fights back the tears welling up in her eyes, knowing deep down that this hard-won happiness is exactly what her boy has been longing for a very long time. With Jack's heartwarming companionship, Auggie gradually sheds his insecurities and even goes as far as to humorously poke fun at himself, claiming that this face of his has gone through multiple makeovers just to become this bright and handsome. However, this beautiful friendship is abruptly shattered by an unexpected turn of events. Halloween arrives right on schedule, which is the day Auggie looks forward to the most, because on this day, everyone wears masks and puts on costumes, meaning he no longer has to be treated differently due to his unique appearance. But just as he happily heads out to find Jack to hang out, he unexpectedly overhears Julian ruthlessly mocking him right at the classroom door, even bragging that if he ever looked like Auggie, he would definitely never dare to show his face in public. What Auggie never expects, however, is that Jack actually chimes in and agrees on a whim.
Why do you hang out with him so much, Jack?
Yeah, I don't know. Tushman asked me to be his welcome buddy, and now he just follows me around everywhere.
These words slice through Auggie's heart like a freezing blade, instantly crushing the self-confidence he worked so hard to build up. Upon returning home, he goes straight to his bedroom and locks himself inside. Sensing her little brother's unusual mood, Via puts on a Halloween costume and comes into his room, determined to figure out the grievances he endured at school. After getting to the bottom of the whole story, Via gently counsels Auggie, telling him that one must go through all kinds of setbacks in life to slowly grow up, and he cannot just shut himself out from the world over a little grievance. Yet this consolation only makes Auggie feel more frustrated, as he believes his sister has never tasted the bitterness of being left out and cannot possibly understand his agony, prompting him to snap back at her. Instead of arguing out of spite, Via opens up about her own troubles, sharing that her once inseparable best friend has distanced herself for no apparent reason, leaving her equally lost and bewildered. Yet she never allows herself to get trapped in negative emotions and waste her days in depression. From her perspective, since there is no way to control other people's choices and opinions, the only option left is to learn to adjust one's own mindset. After listening to his sister's guidance, Auggie's downcast mood finally eases up, and a smile appears on his face once again. Accompanied by his sister, even though he manages to have a somewhat fulfilling Halloween, the brief warmth still cannot erase the deep scars left by those hurtful words. Once back at school, Auggie deliberately distances himself from Jack, leaving Jack completely baffled by the sudden cold shoulder. However, nobody knows that the hurtful remarks Jack casually throws out on Halloween are solely to fit in with his peers and avoid being isolated by the whole class, which leads him to badmouth Auggie on impulse. Initially, Jack only takes the initiative to approach Auggie because he is following the principal's request. But through their day-to-day interactions, Jack gradually discovers that underneath this heavily deformed face, the boy harbors a brilliantly smart and vibrant soul. And after spending so much time together, he has long been deeply drawn to Auggie's unique character, genuinely wanting to be his friend from the bottom of his heart. Yet now, whenever Jack tries everything he can to get close, Auggie avoids him at every turn. Their classmates begin to speculate wildly, gossiping that Jack might have caught some kind of virus from Auggie. However, unable to stand these cruel remarks any longer, the kind-hearted Summer refuses to follow the crowd in shunning Auggie, promptly walking over to him with her lunch tray and offering to be his friend. But having been deeply scarred by verbal abuse, Auggie is entirely on his guard, suspecting that Summer might also be acting on the principal's orders to get close to him. Towned down by Summer's genuine and heartfelt sincerity, the walls around Auggie's heart slowly begin to melt away.
Why are you sitting here then?
Because I want some nice friends for a change.
Me too.
With one final, honest handshake, the two lock in a brand new friendship right then and there. And Summer's timely appearance also brings a much-needed turning point to the near-broken relationship between Jack and Auggie. A month passes, and Auggie still refuses to let go of his grudge, continuing to give Jack the silent treatment. Yet, Jack cannot wrap his head around the reason behind it at all. In order to figure out the real reason behind Auggie's cold shoulder, he tracks down Summer to get some answers. However, Summer does not spill the beans directly, leaving him with only a crucial clue instead.
Ghost face.
Still, Jack is left completely in the dark regarding what it actually means. It is not until science class that a light bulb suddenly goes off in his head, making him realize that the person standing outside the door in that weird mask that day is actually Auggie. Only then does Jack realize that his casual, thoughtless remarks have caused a massive amount of trauma to Auggie. An intense wave of guilt instantly washes over his entire body, yet he has absolutely no clue how to make amends for the mistake he committed. Right on cue, the teacher assigns a project requiring desk mates to team up and complete a science experiment together. Seizing the golden opportunity, Julian immediately tries to recruit Jack in an attempt to completely isolate Auggie. To his surprise, Jack rejects him right on the spot. Feeling utterly betrayed, Julian corners Jack right after class, bombarding him with mean slurs to demean Auggie, while demanding to know why Jack would ever choose to hang out with a freak. Hearing his friend being humiliated so terribly, Jack completely loses his cool and explodes into a heated physical altercation with Julian on the spot. No longer able to tolerate anyone trash-talking Auggie, he throws his fists to defend his friend's dignity. Ultimately, this reckless brawl is stopped just in time by Mr. Brown, who hurries to the scene. But the moment they are pulled apart, Jack unexpectedly breaks down and cries his eyes out. Only at this moment does it hit him how deeply he actually treasures Auggie as a friend. Fortunately, after getting to the bottom of the fight, Mr. Tushman does not hand down a severe punishment, merely requiring Jack to issue an apology. Having watched the whole thing unfold from a distance, Auggie feels Jack's absolute sincerity, causing the frozen barrier in his heart to slowly thaw away. That very night, inside an online minigame, Auggie takes the initiative to send Jack a friendly greeting. Just like that, the two boys, after surviving a roller coaster of misunderstandings, finally patch things up and become good friends again. During the school science fair, Auggie and Jack pool their intelligence and incredible chemistry to co-create a beautifully designed, high-tech camera obscura light box, taking home the championship title in one fell swoop. On the flip side, the overconfident Julian watches his own project fail repeatedly due to consecutive errors, turning him into the laughingstock of the entire school. Through round after round of competition, Auggie uses his sheer capability to make his peers fully realize that a person's worth lies not in their outward appearance, but in their inner character. Slowly but surely, Auggie not only wins over everyone's respect and affection, but is also universally recognized as a wonder boy. However, the defeated Julian is filled with nothing but bitter resentment. So he slips a cruel note to Auggie with a hideous monster drawn on it, using it to mock Auggie's facial deformities. He even goes as far as to Photoshop Auggie out of the class photo, attaching a malicious caption that reads, "No monsters allowed." Although seeing this inevitably makes Auggie feel deeply wronged, his kind heart chooses not to hold a petty grudge over it, because he remembers what his older sister tells him. Since there is no way to control other people's choices and opinions, the only option left is to learn to adjust one's own mindset. Meanwhile, Julian's relentless, day in and day out bullying and exclusion cause their classmates to see straight through his narrow-minded cruelty, gradually sparking widespread distaste for him until Julian ends up being completely isolated and shunned by the entire group. The long-anticipated outdoor spring trip finally arrives right on schedule. Auggie sets off with a heart full of excitement, completely forgetting to even say goodbye to his parents. All kinds of outdoor activities allow the kids to have the absolute time of their lives. However, right in the middle of a movie screening, Auggie and Jack get too restless to sit still and sneak away to wander around. To their misfortune, before they can walk very far, they run straight into a group of older students who immediately start hurling insults at Auggie's appearance without holding back. Seeing this, Jack steps up instantly to shield Auggie, only to be shoved violently to the ground by the bullies. Watching Jack get targeted, Auggie knows damn well that he cannot just stand idly by, so he musters up his courage to put himself between the bullies and Jack. However, his frail frame is also easily knocked down with a heavy shove. Just as the two find themselves backed into a corner with absolutely no help in sight, Amos, who usually tags along with Julian to jeer at and exclude Auggie, unexpectedly rushes to the scene alongside Miles and Henry. Without a moment's hesitation, they step up to back them up, squaring off face to face against the older students. By working together as a solid unit, this band of classmates successfully stands their ground and overpowers the bullies. Seizing the window of opportunity while the bullies are in complete disarray, Auggie teaches the ringleader a lesson he will not forget. Right after that, Auggie quickly leads his friends to make a clean getaway from the scene. Once they are out of harm's way, they all look at each other and burst into laughter, the lingering terror in their hearts completely melting away into the sheer joy of winning side by side.
It's cool how you stood your ground, little dude.
Even though it is just a simple, heartwarming compliment, to Auggie, it means he is no longer a misfit freak in the eyes of others. He walks slowly toward the edge of the lake, letting hot tears stream down his face as he truly feels this long-awaited validation. After the spring trip wraps up, Auggie proudly shares the story of the fight with his parents with a massive grin on his face. In my eyes, what he truly defeats is not some obnoxious older bullies, but rather the deeply rooted insecurity that has kept him shackled for years. At the graduation ceremony, everyone expects Mr. Tushman to follow convention by awarding the highest honor of student excellence to a top academic achiever. To everyone's surprise, Mr. Tushman makes a completely unexpected move instead. He actually presents the prestigious medal, symbolizing exceptional character and role model behavior, directly to Auggie. Mr. Tushman expresses his deep gratitude to the little boy for using his immense inner strength to teach all the children how to practice kindness and respect. A thunderous round of applause erupts across the entire auditorium on the spot. Auggie can barely believe his eyes, never imagining that someone as different as him could ever receive such a supreme, crowning honor. Clutching the heavy medal in his hands, Auggie looks out at his peers who usually exclude and mock him, noting that every single one of them is now standing on their feet, clapping for him with all their might. He finally understands that his unique face is no longer a shackle born of insecurity, but rather a precious badge of honor earned through his journey of growth and transformation. This is a beautifully tender, soul-healing masterpiece about growing up that strikes a chord right in your heart. Without relying on forced melodrama or over-the-top cliches, it heals every insecure, ordinary soul through a raw and delicate narrative of personal growth. Born with a facial deformity and forced to endure 27 grueling surgeries, Auggie still cannot escape the narrow-minded prejudices and cold shoulders of society. That heavy astronaut helmet used to be his only armor to shut out the malice and shield his fragile self-esteem. His warm and deeply understanding family serves as the sturdiest safe haven along his winding path of maturity. His parents' tender protection and his sister's empathetic companionship slowly heal the trauma in his heart, giving him the raw courage to face the world head-on. The cruel mockery on campus and his briefly shattered friendship serve as the perfect crucible for his growth. His friends' sudden realization and his classmates' genuine acceptance become the guiding lights illuminating his path forward. The most touching core of this film is never about a dramatic underdog comeback, but about always choosing kindness when caught between being right and being kind. Auggie has never been treated gently by the world, yet he consistently holds on to his pure, unadulterated sincerity, utilizing his intellect, kindness, and sheer resilience to shatter facial biases and earn everyone's utmost respect. The movie also leaves us with a powerful message. A true wonder is never about possessing a flawless face, but about having a resilient soul that refuses to bow down to fate or get swept away by malice. Life is never picture perfect, but by embracing who you are and carrying kindness in your heart, every ordinary person who stays true to themselves can become their very own guiding light and miracle.